welcome to Training Tuesday, where we go through weekly tips and tricks to make your career just a little bit more awesome. This week, we are talking about vetting opportunities and saying no to the wrong ones. And this talk is actually inspired by one of my clients who I was speaking with yesterday, who has been doing a ton of great work when it comes to interviewing and is in final stages with 4 companies, either having an offer or in the midst of getting an offer. And she was kind of looking at her big picture, and as she got on a call with me yesterday, she already knew, because we already had a checklist, she was able to go through and say, this is the role that I think is the best fit of all of these opportunities. And there were 2 of them she was pretty torn in between. And so she was able to actually have a way to go through and make sure she was making the right decision for her, not just an impulse decision. Now, to me, that is such an awesome illustration, because sometimes you have to say no to things that are good to say yes to the thing that is an even better fit, right? So I don't know if anyone else watches trash TV like The Bachelor like I do, but sometimes it's not about who you're saying no to, but it's about who you're saying yes to. Same thing applies when it comes to a job. So if you've ever felt that kind of debate of how to know what's the right job for you, this is something I hear a lot, right? So often people say they don't really know what a job is like until they get in the door, and sometimes their expectations or what they were hoping for in the role don't match up 6 months in, and then they feel surprised. Now, unfortunately, that typically just means that you're not clear enough about what you're looking for before you go in there, and you're not asking the right questions, which we could spend a whole nother day talking about interview questions, but today we're just talking about getting clear on your list. And so a lot of people go into interviews blind. They just ask generic questions to which they get generic answers, and they ask about big picture stuff, but they haven't taken the time to figure out what exactly that they're looking for in the role. And so, of course, it's going to be a lot more challenging to find a role where that's a perfect fit. And so what you need is really those skills or the tools to get clear on it before you go in the door. Now, that is why my tip for you this week is to start making a checklist. So if you're in the process of interviewing or having a conversation about a next role, even internally within your company, trying to figure out what that next step is, you want to get really clear on what are the things that are your must-haves before you go in there, so that you can ask questions and make sure that this role or opportunity matches up. So start your checklist of the things that you know are necessary for you. Working dynamics, what your manager is like, what the company is like, some of the values. Is mission super important to you, or does it just have to not be an evil company, right? So think about those kind of things and start making your checklist, because I can guarantee if you've ever struggled with knowing whether it's the right opportunity, it's probably because you haven't done this, okay? So start with that piece. And if you're ever struggling with that, one step forward, one step back, which is, again, something that comes up often, people feeling like they are on the cusp of making a big decision and then talking themselves out of it. If you've ever felt that way, I'm going to be hosting a training in my 9 to Thrive group on Friday. So I will post the link below, but join us. We'll be talking about how you can address if you feel like you've always been taking one step forward, one step back. What are the 3 main things you need so that you can actually move into action, opposed to thinking and talking and wondering about making the action. We'll teach you how to actually do that thing. Okay, so try this tip on for size. As I mentioned, make your checklist. If you're struggling with big picture change, join us in 9 to Thrive for the training on Friday. And in the meantime, happy working.